Hi, everybody. Okay, another intense parsha, which I am finding a lot of parallels to today, as usual. So it's Korach, Parshat Korach, and everybody knows Korach was the person who had this dispute, a machloket, with Moshe. He confronted Moshe and he said, "Why are you guys the leaders?" Sounds kind of familiar. We don't want you as a leader. There's no reason for you to be the leader. You are kol ha'edah kulam kedoshim uvetocham Hashem. The entire congregation are holy people, and Hashem is with them. So why do you feel that there is this need to be the leaders? Madua titnasu al kahal Hashem. Why are you raising yourselves above everybody? You're taking all the honor for yourself. And really, everybody is holy. And there's nobody who's more holy than anybody else. Everyone's equal, which kind of sounds true, you know? But in the Zohar, and we know obviously from the punishment that Korach got, sorry, this is not working out, that really, this is a terrible, terrible thing that he did. And he created machloket. He created this very deep-seated dispute and distance and disparity among the Jewish people. And now everybody started thinking to themselves, wait, maybe Moshe and Aaron are not the true leaders. They're not good leaders. Maybe we should, maybe they have a point, So, and the Zohar says, interestingly enough, that Korach plig al hashalom, that Korach actually disputed the whole concept of peace, or disputed the whole concept of a Klal Yisrael, of all the Jewish nation being together as one. He had a dispute about the concept of the Jewish people being unified. What does that even mean? He seems to have just been disputing the leadership of Moshe. It just seems from the pshat, from the basic text, that he was against Moshe and Aaron, especially Aaron, actually, because he was the Kohen Gadol, and he was against the idea, it seems like, that he was against the idea of there being one leader, one Kohen Gadol, and why wasn't I the Kohen Gadol, and my family should be just as important as Moshe's family, and so on. So the question is, why does the Zohar say that he actually disputed the whole concept of shalom, of unity, of peace among the Jewish nation? And also it continues to say in the Zohar that Shabbat is called shalom, and so is the Torah called shalom, okay? And there's a few things, and the name of Hashem is shalom. So really, Korach is being blamed for disputing the concept of Shabbat and the concept of Torah and the concept of Hashem, the name of Hashem. So all of this seems so strange because all he's saying is disputing the leadership. We do not want this leadership, right? So it's a democratic country. You would think that everybody can have their own opinion. But in fact, the Zohar is pointing out that this goes very, very deeply into the root of what makes the Jewish people a nation and the existence of the nation possible. So, and therefore he was really, really punished, and he's known forever as being this disputer of peace, this cholek ala shalom. He's disputing the concept of the Jewish people being unified. So Netivat Shalom asks, why is this the case? And he says the whole entire world is built on hashpa'ah, mashpia, and mekabel, which means an influencer and a receiver of that influence. Really, the whole world is Hashem. God is creating this world where he gives abundance and blessing, and he gives life, and he maintains life, and he allows us to live, and that is how we live. So it has to be, and also we see that you have a mashpia, you always have somebody who gives and somebody who receives in order to create real, like, new birth in the world, right? Like another human being is by one of the two people who are involved in creating a baby. One is the giver and the other is the receiver. okay, and the nurturer, and the taking in and creating something out of that. We also see in the plant world, I think I spoke about this once before, you need the rain to come down. So it's like giving, bringing water in, and then the earth receives all the water and the nutrients, and then it grows. Something grows. New life comes from the idea that there's a giver and there's a receiver. So really, the whole world has to exist based on this receiving and giving and receiving. Now, in order for that to happen, there has to be a certain degree of peace, meaning not peace in the way that we talk about it in our world, peace between the nations, but a real connection between one and another. You need to have that connection. In order to receive, you need to be a person who is willing to put your ego aside a little bit and not say, I am the be-all and end-all, but I also need to receive. I need to be connected to somebody else, and only through that connection, and we know for sure with a couple, only through that connection and through that love between the two of them, they're able to now have another human being, bring life into the world. So the whole world basically works like that. Now, if you think about Shabbat, we know that Shabbat has a lot of the word shalom connected to it. We say Shabbat shalom. We say shalom aleichem malachei hashalom. When we bring Shabbat in, we have Kabbalat Shabbat, and we have a lot of shalom going on. So the concept of Shabbat is also that connection between Hashem and the Jewish people. Hashem is the giver, and the Jewish people are the receiver. And through that, we have a marriage almost between Hashem and the Jewish people, that partnership, that connection. And that brings to new life, because Shabbat is the source of life for the whole rest of the week. We know that it's the Makor HaBracha. That Shabbat, as long as there's somebody keeping Shabbat in the world and the Jewish people are keeping Shabbat, then Hashem gives life force to the rest of the week. It's almost as if, well, it is the case. That's what the Kabbalah says, is that Hashem really created the world only for 6 days. And then he created Shabbat. And once you have Shabbat, that gives life for the next 6 days. And every week is really based on the Shabbat that precedes it. So it's the makor, it's the source of all blessing and life force. The same is with the Torah. It's almost as if Hashem put himself into the Torah. And when people are learning Torah, they are connecting to Hashem. And again, they are the receivers, and Hashem is the giver. And through the Torah, through that connection, they are receiving that influence from Hashem, that abundance, that blessing, and they're giving it to the entire world. Okay, it a little bit connects to what's going on today. If we appreciate the real need for there to be some people in the world that are learning Torah at all times, because that brings life force for the whole entire world. It brings, God creates and provides blessing and abundance and protection through the Torah, through the people that are learning the Torah, because it's an expression of Hashem. It is Hashem's word to mankind, to humankind. So as soon as there's people learning Torah, that provides abundance, protection, life for the entire Jewish nation. Okay, so that's the Torah. So if you are against the whole concept, and this is what Korach did, is, see, he was at a very, very high level. He was a big tzaddik, and he felt like, I don't need the hashpa'ah of anybody. I don't need anybody else to influence me, because I am at a very, very high level myself, and I can connect straight to Hashem. I don't need the Torah. I don't need Shabbat. I don't need the name of Hashem, the Shalom. I don't need this connection to the other Jewish people, because really I'm on a very high level. And he was among the people who carried the Mishkan. He was the carrier of the Aron, of the Ark of the Covenant. He was one of the people who, that was his job. He was supposed to, from place to place, every time the Mishkan would travel, he would be among the carriers of the Ark of the Covenant, which had in it the luchot, the tablets of with the 10 commandments on them. So, and that is a very, very high spiritual job to have. And as a result, it kind of like the ark itself seemed to carry its carriers. There was a very strange feeling to those people who carried the ark. They felt that they were flying, because it was such an intense spiritual experience that they were, supposedly holding these bars that were holding up the ark, but the ark actually seemed to carry them. They felt like they were gliding on air. They were on a very, very high level. You had to be on a really high level to be able to do that. And so Korach just felt like, you know what? I'm very connected to God. I could do this on my own. I don't need Moshe and Aaron and the priests, that their job, the Kohanim's job, was to bring the influence, the abundance, the blessing, the connection to Hashem to the Jewish people. And he was like, I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need you guys to give me this specific kind of influence. I can do it on my own. I can connect to Hashem. Kol ha'edah kulam kedoshim uvetocham Hashem. The entire congregation is kedoshim. If you notice, it's the plural. It's not kol ha'edah kula kedosha. This one congregation is holy. If he had said that, the whole congregation is holy as a unit, then that would be one thing. That would be okay, because you're saying all of the Jewish people are one holy unit. We're all together. But he didn't say that. He said everybody are individually holy. Kulam kedoshim. They're all a bunch of individuals, and every single person is holy and can connect to Hashem on his own. We don't need one person, like, so to speak, Moshe, to be the conduit for this holiness and spirituality and connection to Hashem. We can each connect on our own and we'll be fine, and we're each individuals, and we do not need each other, and we do not need to connect as a unit and as a one full close nation. And so Netivot Shalom says this is a very, very dangerous thing, and it's happening today. And as soon as we disconnect from each other and we are full of ego and we think we are right and we have the only say, and really, like, we can't listen to anybody else, and we don't even want to discuss anything anymore because it's not worth it. We don't understand you. You don't understand us. We're right. You're wrong. And that's it. That's the beginning of the disintegration of the entire creation, because Hashem wanted us to connect to each other in order to bring about the abundance, the protection, the blessing from Hashem. That's what Hashem wants us to do. He wants us all to be connected to each other, to be receivers and to be givers, to be influencers and to be influenced. And in order for that to happen, when we connect as one nation, when we're willing to sit down with each other and discuss and realize that we're one nation and we all have to do everything. Yes, it's not that some of us need to learn and some of us need to fight the war. No. We are one nation and we need to fight one war together. And it's one nation, one people. We're not different. We're not separate. We're not separate individuals that each are doing the right thing or the wrong thing. No. We are one people, one nation. We all have to connect to each other. We all have to do for each other. We all have to be givers, and we all have to be receivers. And that's the way we connect to each other, and then we connect to Hashem through that. And that's the way we receive life, and we receive protection, and we are able to be victorious because we're going to be connected to Hashem. That's the only way that we can connect to an infinite God with infinite power, that we know if we don't do that, forget it. We can't do anything. So that's my blessing for everybody today, for myself, for everybody that I know, that if we can just focus on, realizing that we are one nation, one unit, and in order to receive that blessing and abundance from Hashem, which we sorely, sorely need, in order not to see any more failures and any more people dying, we need to really get our act together and really be one. And in that way, we have to go back to shalom. Shalom between us and achdut. And good luck. Have a good Shabbos.